Chelsea is a very stubborn and rugged side, and was actually imbibed into the team by Jose Mourinho. Even in their worst seasons, they still have that passion, they have that grit.
Hello there, you are welcome to the Sport Verdict. We want to share with you the hard lessons that was learned from the Chelsea versus Liverpool's match. So this is the hardest. We watched it several times, and now we want to discuss the difficult lessons that we learned in that match. So I will be asking Mr. Shino here about these lessons, and please, I want you to be neutral with this. You know, you are Man U, right? Man U did not support to shook mouth for this thing, but don't worry. So let's see how you're going to handle this. Now, number one of the hardest lesson in that match is Chelsea defense is shaky under pressure. Whenever they are pressured, their defense is shaky and they are not strong enough. So what do you think about that?
Okay, on the balance of play, both teams showed that whenever it always looked like if Liverpool was without the ball, they were under pressure. And whenever Chelsea on the other side too were without the ball, they also looked under pressure. But first off, Chelsea showed glimpses of promise whenever attacking, but their defense line showed vulnerability, especially when pressed aggressively. Now, Liverpool's high tempo and quick transitions pegged Chelsea back, especially their full backs who left spaces at the back. Now, this goes to show that Chelsea are not yet there, and when they meet elite sides who press hard, their defensive incompetencies come to show. So I think Chelsea still need to work on that defensive frailties, because whenever they were attacked, it showed that their defense line was in their 6s and 7s. So Chelsea needs to work. Probably when Levi Colwill comes back, there will be more coordination. Yeah, you could say that the wing backs in Cucurella and Reece James were excellent. So Gusto had to go in midfield to push the attack many times, because Gusto was suspect at that right back. So Chelsea needs to work on that.
So do you think this shaky back for Chelsea is what affected them against Man U?
Yes. Chelsea's backline, ever since Levi Colwill got injured, Chelsea, you could see that they always had this, I don't know, maybe it's fear, but you could see that they are not coordinated. They lose a lot of concentration and positioning, which was evident in their match against Liverpool. Whenever Liverpool pressed high, you could see that they lacked positioning and concentration. They didn't know what to do, and I think Manchester United worked on that, and that led to the red card in the 5th minute. That pressure was on, and you could see that probably Chelsea, whenever they visit Old Trafford, I don't know, whenever they visit Old Trafford, they just always find a way to lose concentration, and Manchester United pounced on that.
Okay, in the space of football, we always know that defense starts from attack.
Yes.
So is there any relationship between Chelsea defense and attack?
Now, the first things first, like you said the first point of defense is attack. Now, when you attack the opposition, you are giving your team the opportunity to peg them back and take advantage. But when it's the other way, then it shows that your attack and your midfield are not doing something right, because the midfield is the fulcrum of any football game. So your best form of defense is always attack. And you can see that Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp, whenever they played their games, you could see how Liverpool and Manchester United, Manchester City are set up, because they are always pegging the opposition back. So for you not to be at the receiving end, your team should pressure the opposition, make them feel the heat, attack. That's the best form of defense, because it's only when you attack that you get better opportunities than the opposition. But when you are defending, like Manchester United, you could see that the opposition always has the advantage, and you can only attack to defend your team. If you don't attack, then how will you be able to win games or dominate or take control of the game? So
then now, between Chelsea and Liverpool that day,
yes.
which of the attack and the defense of both teams works better together?
Okay, in terms of transitions and high tempo, Liverpool was slightly better than Chelsea.
Okay.
Both showed attacking promises, but Liverpool had the upper hand. They have a balanced midfield, but it's still shaky. That's Szoboszlai, Gravenberch and McAllister duo. I don't know what is really happening to them this season, but they seem to be under pressure when though Chelsea's midfield too is balanced with Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez, but Liverpool probably have the ascendancy when it comes to the high press. So Liverpool were a bit better than Chelsea.
Okay, we'll move forward now. The number 2 is Liverpool midfield balance, still a work in progress. So what's happened with them, because they won the league last season?
I think looking at Liverpool this season, probably a lot of people might say I'm biased or what have you, but I've always had my doubts about the manager. He seems bereft of ideas whenever Liverpool are not controlling the tempo of the game, and he doesn't seem to be able to put that team together like Jurgen Klopp did. Now look at Liverpool in that Chelsea match. Despite the fact that Liverpool controlled the game and the tempo more, but there were still lapses in that midfield. There was no enforcer like Fabinho or Wijnaldum who could control the tempo of the game in that midfield. And Chelsea, whenever we're with the ball, Liverpool looked lost, because their defenders, especially Van Dijk, was always losing positions when Chelsea attacked. So I think that midfield lacks a bit of cohesion. So, probably because it was Slot's first season last season, and the players still had the momentum going for them with Jurgen Klopp. But the cracks are beginning to show, and that's where the problem lies. But for me, I just think that Slot needs to get back to the drawing board and, make some adjustments there. Probably needs to give them a pep talk or something. I wouldn't know.
Okay, I think we'll move to the third on the list of the hardest lesson that we observe in that 2-1 Chelsea versus Liverpool game. We find out that both teams missed chances that somehow haunt both teams. So what do you think can cause that?
Well, in high-tempo matches like that, big matches like that, they rule a lot of chances, and I think it comes from facts that the attackers probably are under pressure. I wouldn't know why. And for Isak, he still seems to be finding his balance in Liverpool, because many spells in the match you could see that he was a shadow of himself, the Isak we know from Newcastle. And Chelsea, on the other hand, probably the pressure of their new players, because their striker Delap is out injured, and this other Senegalese is away at Bayern Munich. So I think the pressure was on their Brazilian striker. Probably it was his first high-tempo match for Chelsea, and it really showed. So a lot of them, I think Liverpool, on the other hand, didn't get many of the balls in the final third, though they dominated and controlled the tempo of the match. But I think supplies from the midfield was a little bit shaky on a very good day. Liverpool was expected to win this match, probably not comfortably, but they were expected to win probably 2-1 or 2-0 at best. So I think Salah, I wouldn't say Salah is losing his grit, but I think the midfield setup is affecting the attacking foray of Liverpool, and it really showed in the match against Chelsea.
That is good. We are moving to number 4 of the hardest lesson learned in that game. What we'll figure out is to be number 4 is the leadership and game management that is lacking between both teams. Where is that coming from?
I think it starts from players, also the managers. If you watch both sides, you have players who are very good on the ball, who seem to be leaders but are not pulling their weight. One would look at Chelsea and say, okay, Reece James looks more or less like a leader. And when you look at Cucurella too and Caicedo, you could pin them as ones who could really coordinate the other players, but it seems to be lacking on when you look back at Chelsea during the John Terry days, you could see his leadership qualities, coordinating them, shouting at them, but you don't seem to see that in Chelsea. And probably because Liverpool, on the other hand, they are beginning to be signs of cracks in that Liverpool setup, and you could see that Van Dijk is not pulling his weight like it should. He seems to be at a loss many times when Chelsea and other attacking sides push at them, and his defensive abilities seem to be dwindling each passing week. And so Salah is a fantastic player, but I don't see him in the mold of that leader on the field. So unlike when you had the likes of Fabinho, Wijnaldum, Steven Gerrard, those were people that had the leadership qualities. But when you look at both sides, despite you see players that look like they are leaders, but I don't seem to see that leadership qualities in them.
Okay. Now, looking at it critically, is it the attack that is better to lead, or the defense or midfield? Which department do you think is better?
Okay, like in terms of leadership?
Yes.
Anybody can be a leader, you understand? But when you look at most times, the leaders could be the goalkeeper, could be the central defenders, or the midfielders. Most of the times, it's between those three departments. But if I'll pick my two, between central defenders and midfielders, that's where you have
the best
fulcrum of
leadership
that comes from.
Thank you for that. Number 5 of the hardest lesson that was learned in that match, Chelsea-Liverpool 2-1 results. So we find out that there are individual talents, but the team cohesion. You know, they were not playing together. So what do you think caused that? I was looking at it from the manager's angle, but I don't know. What do you think about it?
Yeah, well, in terms of cohesion, I think injuries on Chelsea side also has derailed campaign thus far this season. Chelsea coming into the season looked a decent and strong side after their exploits in the Club World Cup, and they looked a solid side. But I think probably the weight of being called world champions and the injuries also affected the side, because looking at the side, you have a lot of new players, young players who have not been at this stage before. You understand? So it's a lot of pressure is on the team to perform, and being what Chelsea as a team has been over the years. During the Abramovich era, Chelsea was always winning titles year after year. Even in their worst seasons, they have that passion, they have that grit. Chelsea is a very stubborn and rugged side, and was actually imbibed into the team by Jose Mourinho. And you could still see that Chelsea, even when they are down, they still give all. I would like to really see that in Manchester United. Manchester United, as my team, don't give me that joy. You could see that Chelsea, despite not playing well, still give their all. Yes, they might not win the match, they might not be impressive, but you will see that fighting spirit, and that's all it takes a team to get back to the top. And I think if Maresca has all his players back together, they will still be a force to reckon with. Chelsea is a solid side. They have good players and young players, especially that 17-year-old guy, Estêvão. His match against, when he came on against Crystal Palace in the first match, he was electric on that right wing, and you could see even against West Ham, he always has impact. And those are the kind of players that you build for the future. Very confident, and you could see that he lived up to expectations. He was practically the game changer, because he came in and scored the winner for Chelsea, a good one for Estêvão and Chelsea. And you know what this kind of win does for a team that has won once in 3 or 4 matches in the Premier League? It builds their confidence. Beating Liverpool, I think, has boosted the confidence of the Chelsea players, and they can go all out in their next match and tell themselves, we can actually do this. That's a game changer. That's a turning point, and I believe Chelsea, after the international break, will come back strong, having in their minds that they beat a Liverpool team that nobody expected them to beat, despite 8 players on the injury list. Kudos, good one to Chelsea.
Dear viewers, we want you to comment. Do you see these hard lessons that we just listed 1 to 5? Do you observe it when you were watching the match? Or if you have additional list, you can put it down in the comment section. And we want you to share, and we want you to subscribe. This is the Sport Verdict. Beyond the start, beyond the story, the verdict. Thank you. See you in another video.